Let's dive deeper into what the US may be miscalculating in the tariff war, especially how the rest of the world reacts when America tries to use economic pressure as a weapon. 1. Trade wars are not one-way streets. The US often believes that because it's a massive economy, others will fold under pressure. But in a globalized economy, tariffs backfire. When the US raises tariffs, other nations don't just absorb the cost. They respond with tariffs of their own, push back diplomatically, and most importantly, they diversify away from US suppliers. Example, when the US slapped tariffs on Chinese goods, China didn't just retaliate, they massively increased purchases from Brazil, Russia, and Southeast Asia. They also sped up trade deals with countries like Argentina and even Africa. 2. Losing trust is more dangerous than losing a deal. Trade relationships are built on long-term trust. Once that's broken, partners look for more stable alternatives, not necessarily cheaper, just more reliable. Many US allies, Canada, Mexico, EU nations, quietly started strengthening ties with China because they feared they'd be the next targets. Japan and South Korea increased imports from regional suppliers instead of the US, despite being close allies. So the damage isn't just short-term pain, it's the slow erosion of US influence in the global economy. 3. Other countries get stronger when the US creates a trade vacuum, others fill it. And fast. Brazil became the world's top soybean supplier to China after US tariffs hit. Russia and China now trade energy, food, and military technology directly, cutting out the West. India and Southeast Asia are building their own supply chains, not just to export to the US, but to serve each other. Result, the US unintentionally helps its competitors rise. Before, American businesses and consumers pay the price. The US government may think it's punishing foreign nations, but US companies and citizens often pay more. Tariffs raise costs for manufacturers who rely on global parts. Prices go up in stores, not just for imported items, but for American-made products that depend on imported materials. Farmers, tech companies, automakers, many of them lost big markets and had to lay off workers. So the economic pain isn't just exported, it circles back home. 5. You can't win a trade war that never ends. The US may expect short-term pressure to create long-term results, but the world adapts fast. Countries are now setting up non-dollar trade systems like China's digital yuan and BRICS-backed alternatives. Global institutions like the WTO, IMF, and World Bank are being challenged, and alternatives are rising from Asia and the global South. In trying to control the system, the US is accidentally encouraging the creation of a new system where it has less control. Final thought. Trade wars may feel like a show of strength, but in reality,